Hey guys, hope you are doing well. Welcome back to the channel, and today we are going to discuss and perform a full review of this Kreo Surge Ultra controller. I got this controller for 4000 rupees from Amazon about 15 to 20 days ago, and I believe this is a good point where I can talk about the experience that I had as a gamer, the good and the bad with this controller, and should you purchase this product for yourself. So yeah, let's begin. So starting off, this is made by Creo and comes in dual tone finish, as you can see, with a purple faceplate and a solid black color, which basically is the entire controller. Talking about the build quality, the buttons are quite clicky. They are always giving the feeling that it's a well-made product, and I did not have any issues with the build quality as such. Sure, I believe the faceplate quality could be a little better, and that's purely because this is a removable piece, and hence the faceplate does feel a little bit squeaky. I'm not sure if you were able to hear the noise, but yeah, it does feel that it's a little bit squeaky on the edges, and that's primarily because it's a removable component. But talking about the overall build quality, I will still rate it about an 8 out of 10 because the buttons are good, and overall my experience so far has been good. I have been fortunate and careful enough not to drop this product, but I'm sure that it could take a couple of drops. That said, I would also want to mention about the grips that are present, and the grips that are present on the back side make the controller more ergonomic, and hence for long sessions make it easy for use. But at the same time, they are not at the same level as for the Xbox controller or the PS controller offers, but then it comes at a lower price as well, so it makes complete sense to have this quality at this price. So that was about build quality. Now we can proceed to talk about connectivity. And for connectivity, as I talked about in the previous video as well, there are four modes that you could use to actually connect this to your device. So there is the 2.4 hertz gigahertz dongle mode, which I generally have been using so far with my PC gaming. There is the mode to connect with Nintendo Switch. Now this is a mode that I couldn't test since I do not own a Nintendo Switch. And then there are two other modes, one of which being Bluetooth and the other one of which being connected to your PC via Bluetooth. So the experience so far has not been bad, I must say. The Bluetooth mode that I used to connect with my tablet over here and tried a couple of Android games like Prince of Persia and Football League 2026. My experience was fair. It was not offering me much vibrations considering the connection was made via Bluetooth, and Android games are known to not support a lot of vibration. But at the same time, when I connected it with my PC, the experience has been good. The 2.4 gigahertz dongle connects the controller seamlessly, and you just have to plug it in. No need to install any softwares or anything, and the controller is just ready to go. So the experience of connectivity has been good with me, and I did occasionally experience a couple of hiccups, like the controller would get disconnected and the light that is present here would just blink to show that the controller is currently reconnecting, and that reconnecting never actually became an issue because it would reconnect within a matter of 3 seconds. So overall the experience of connectivity for me was good, so I would rate it 9 out of 10 when it comes to connectivity. So moving on, I would like to talk about my gaming experience, the most important factor and the deciding factor for any controller, for any gamer. So I would like to talk first about how my experience personally has been and which games I have played. So after using this controller on a regular basis for long sessions for about 4 hours a day, I have been able to get a good experience overall in playing games like Echoes of the End, which by the way is made by an Icelandic developer, and it's very similar to God of War, a double A game, but still one worth trying out. If you are a gamer, that could be a quick recommendation for you. I also played Witcher 3 and EAFC. So yeah, played all bunch of games. Did try out single player games as well as multiplayer games. Did a bit of GTA Online as well. So can give a fair idea of how this controller performs in all of those scenarios. So I felt that the vibrations were decent and the experience of playing was good. I never came across any problems of disconnectivity or major issues where the controller would cause the game to lag or the input was taking some time that was making the experience a little slow. There was no such issue and I was able to comfortably play, considering the single player games don't really require an issue of polling rate, so I did not experience that in the first place. But while playing EAFC 24 online and while playing GTA online, I did not come across any issues at all. So the experience overall stays quite good, and I would say that in terms of the experience, it was quite nice. I could feel the vibrations of the triggers well as the overall controller grips quite well in different depictions while the game was going on. So, for example, if you are playing GTA Online and your car is not on the street and just goes to the side, you would feel that rumble in the controller, and the experience was definitely good. The buttons inputs were good, and so was the D-pad. The D-pad comes with 8 buttons, so even though right now I have connected it with the main pad which allows just the 4 movements, the normal ones that we know, but at the same time there are buttons actually which are present on the middle of those directions as well, and that 8 directional D-pad is also offered as a part of the box. So if you want to play such games, I am sure that this controller would perform equally well. There is some RGB that allows you to feel that, yeah, it looks like a proper gaming product, and the buttons that are present here, which may appear transparent right now, actually have this LED RGB glow which show the A, B and XY buttons, and definitely it does look nice. The connectivity is also shown by the controller's light over here, which can appear as red, green or white depending upon which connectivity mode you are using. And overall the controller looks good while gaming, especially in the dark. So that was about my gaming experience. I will give it a 9 out of 10 because of the occasional disconnectivity issues, but otherwise no problems at all. Now let's talk about vibrations, a very important aspect for anybody who actually wants to purchase this controller, and this is where this controller actually scores well. Let's talk about it and let's understand why that is the case. So first of all, the controller comes with 4 vibration modes. They are, from what I can remember, is at 0%, that is off. I'm not sure if anybody likes to play with their controller as the vibration stays off, but yeah, if you want to just save some battery and you want to take a, you don't really care about vibrations, you could actually set the controller to 0% vibrations and just go on with it. But yeah, the other modes are 30%, 50%, 70% and 100%. All of my gaming has happened with the vibrations at 50%. I initially did do a bit of testing with every vibration mode to understand what was comfortable for me, and I must say, if you love vibrations, the 100% level is just going to be amazing for you, because the experience actually makes the controller such that your hand literally vibrates, and that experience actually shows in the game. So if you love vibrations, this controller is surely a good choice for you. I am someone who likes to immerse myself in the story of the game, and hence vibrations while play an important role to me. I just found that 50% vibrations was just the right sweet spot for me. So the controller comes with asymmetric rumble motors, and hence the two sides of the controller don't really vibrate equally. It depends if you are basically accelerating or just going back with your car, or if you are fighting or you are defending. So depending upon different scenarios in the game, the vibration experience changes. For example, while playing Witcher 3, as I would be trying to parry the move of the enemy opponent, I would often experience that there was a very shallow, very light vibration that was coming on the right side, but on the other side, other end, when I was attacking, the experience would be different. The experience would be such that the controller would vibrate and it would be of high intensity, and that is what made the experience quite good. That said, if you are a fan of racing games, if you are a fan of just playing GTA and taking your car and going for a ride, or playing Forza. In that case, this controller offers something that most controllers don't, and that is the trigger vibrations. So the triggers over here also come with their own vibration motors, and hence the experience just gets enhanced, because the vibration in the triggers is also at those same 4 levels as the grips vibrations, but they are smaller vibrators, and hence the vibrations are not as strong. But then of course you would not expect them to be that strong in the triggers, because in that case you would not be able to use the triggers well. So my experience with the trigger vibration was probably the best part of this controller so far. I have been using the Xbox controllers so far, and while Xbox controller is known to have trigger vibrations, after using this, I actually felt that its trigger vibrations are a lot better than the Xbox controller. And yes, one may feel that is that really the case? But then, from my experience and from what I have understood, if you want a significant amount of trigger vibrations, you would have to use an Xbox controller with the Xbox. If you want the absolute best experience with vibrations with the PC, then this may just be the better product for you. So yeah, going on and talking about how the vibrations were. So if you are accelerating, you would see that as you press the right trigger, the vibrations would just be at the start as your car gears up, and when it moves forward on a straight road, the vibration just slows down and goes away. And then let's say you hit another vehicle on the road, and in that case the vibration comes back to the entire controller as well as both the triggers. Suppose you apply your brake and you are having to apply a harsh brake because you have to take a quick right or left turn. In that case, the left controller vibrates really hard, and that is what enhances the experience. So I must say that, if especially if you are a fan of racing games, or if you just want to play open world games which require your character to move a lot, this controller's trigger vibrations might just make the deal for you. And that's my honest recommendation. This video is of course not sponsored, as I'm just making my second video ever, and I purchased this myself. So I'm just sharing my honest experience and opinions, and just helping you make the right choice for yourself. So for vibrations, I will give it a 9 out of 10, because it felt that it was an experience where the vibrations were almost perfect, but then there is always room for improvement. And if this was a dual sense controller by PlayStation, then probably it would get 10 out of 10, because if you are into gaming, you would know that nothing beats their haptics and their immersion when it comes to vibrations. So 9 out of 10 is my score. But do you think it's harsh? Let me know. But I believe that 9 out of 10 stays a fair score. So the next point, I believe we should be talking about battery life at this stage, because most of the aspects of this controller are now covered. So when it comes to battery life, this device comes with a battery life of 1200 mAh, and 1200 mAh by all means is quite a lot when it comes to a controller, because most controllers in the market actually come with 460 or 500 mAh batteries. For example, I was very much considering the 8-bit 2 Ultimate 2C controller and the Power A Battle Dragon controller, and both of them actually come with a lower battery than this one. But at the same time, they claim that the battery life is 20 hours or 30 hours, but I believe those would be instances when the Bluetooth is not being used and wired mode is being used alongside vibrations being turned off. But then that really spoils the experience of gaming. So I believe having a bigger battery actually helps the cause, and I will talk about it now. So in my experience, I have so far in the past 15 days just charged this controller thrice. Yes, I'm not kidding. I've used this controller for last 15-20 days, and I have just needed to charge it thrice. The first time when it came out of the box, I ensured to plug it in and ensure that it was at full charge, so that while performing a review, I would know how much the battery actually lasts. And then with the first charge, I did a lot of gaming of Witcher 3. I ended Witcher 3, and then I started EAFC 24, and then in EAFC 24 I chose my favorite team and decided to just win the league title, the Champions League, and the Super Cup. And in all of the sessions of 2 years, within the FIFA while playing about 50% of the matches, I felt that the controller did not require another charge. Yes, it's true that while playing FIFA, one does not actually use a lot of vibrations, because by default vibrations would only come if you are tackling in the game, but otherwise there will not be a lot of vibrations. But even with less number of vibrations, the controller still did last me throughout 2 seasons, and that really means that yeah, it just lasts, I can say that. Then I started playing Echoes of the End, and right now I have about ended the game about till the 70 to 80% mark, and so far just needed to charge it once more. So yeah, total 3 times I have charged this controller, and every time I charge it with 50% capacity, I believe that the vibration is going to last, the battery is going to last you for about 10 to 12 hours. So they are claiming 12 hours, and they are not really wrong. And occasionally it may last even more. For example, as I mentioned, while playing FIFA, I'm quite sure that this lasted about 15 to 20 hours. So the battery life is solid, and that is actually very good considering the bigger battery it has and the performance it's able to offer. One quick catch that one should remember is that I have ensured to charge this the way they wanted me to. The guide or the manual for this controller says that do not use it using your normal mobile chargers, which generally have a higher capacity, and hence that could actually affect the battery performance. So I used the cable that they have provided in the box, and I used a charger that was actually compatible with this controller. Otherwise I just charged it using my laptop's USB-C port, and henceforth my experience has been quite good. In battery as well, I would like to give it a 9 out of 10. Not a 10 out of 10, because I feel that the battery just lasts 10-12 hours, and if it was a PlayStation or an Xbox controller, it would be lasting higher. That said, let's talk about if it's worth your money, if you should go with this controller. So, of course, Kreo is a new brand. It is also my first purchase of a Kreo product ever. It's of course not going to be the same reliable product that maybe you would get if you were getting yourself an Xbox or a PlayStation controller. But then the experience also makes a difference. While Xbox is known to be the almost perfect controller for PC, in my personal experience after using a different controller, I realized that when it comes to vibrations, this might just be the one for you. That said, the build quality could be better in the ultimate 2C controller offered by 8-bit 2, and if you have a lower budget and if you want to go with that one, you could, but then you would lose out on trigger vibrations, so that's something to be kept in mind. And if you think about getting yourself a PS5 DualSense controller, I believe it's quite an expensive controller. I think it generally goes for over 6,000, 6,000, 6,500 is the general pricing of it. And then the experience that they actually offer, those haptics, those triggers, you don't really get to experience them in most of the PC games, especially if you are someone who uses FitGirl, or maybe if you are not someone who would want to put yourself through the hassle of connecting it via the Sony's app and then configuring the buttons one by one. If you don't want to do that, just want some quick plug and play, that might not be the controller for you. That said, there are quite a few good options in the market as well. If you are looking for a cheaper price point, then Kreo Surge XB at 2000 rupees is good. At 3000, the 8-bit 2 Ultimate 2C is definitely the best choice. And if you want to increase your budget and you're looking something that's giving you those premium features that you would get in an actual console controller, but still want to keep your budget a little tight, this is surely a good option for you. And that was my thought process while I got this for myself. So if you want to proceed with that, you should do that. Just a couple of quick more recommendations. Evo Fox 1S if your budget is 1600, and at 2000 and 2000 to 3000 mark, Battle Dragon offered by PowerA is not a bad choice. But at the price segment, at the price of 4000, I don't think there is a better controller out there. I know that there is a controller that is offered by Cosmic Byte at 3500, but then I believe that this surely beats it, as I did look through a couple of comparisons between this one and that one. So let me know what you think. Sorry for making this video a little longer. Just wanted to talk about every aspect and everything well in detail so you could make the right decision. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you like the video, and make a comment if you want to appreciate or want to talk about anything or any point that I may have missed and you would like me to cover that as well. And subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you in the next video. I'll be performing a full comparison of those two controllers side by side, so we would be able to completely judge if this justifies its 6,000 rupees price point, or is it just better to stick to this one. Thank you so much for watching.